Hello? Hello? Wait, yeah, my thing is like, hold on. Okay, yeah. Chill got the first. Dude, why? My stuff is all over the place. Okay. Oh, alright. I'm not gonna crash out, but I don't know what's happening. Okay, hi Chill, hi Cyrex, hi Stables. Why does he keep doing that? Hi Flawless. Hi Joe. Here for your 5 minutes. Let's go. The games, Stables, I don't even remember. I can't really remember our last games. We ended up in a lot of like bot games, but I think we had one like real one before we got off. Um, but yeah, they were okay. I was on a mission to trying to better getting Lord Squirrel Girl. And then I gave up on that for the time being. I just couldn't play. I don't know. I don't know if it's the mood that I was in or like really my attention span, if that's even applicable to that, is so bad. Like I don't know. I just didn't want to play her like that whole time. So I did like a tiny bit of Phoenix, and then the last few games I played as Luna. So I played as Luna Snow. My only gripe with Luna is that, and I asked, I was like, can she even heal herself? And they said, yeah. But like, I feel like she barely can heal herself. Like, it's obviously so different than like a Jeff. You know what I mean? Unless I'm completely missing something. I also didn't use my team up ever. Forgot about that. Hi, Jordan. But anyway, so that's my only gripe with Luna. I think she's really, really fun because I like how she skates around. Like, I don't know. I think she's cool and she can like freeze the enemies and whatever, but I just find it hard to stay alive as her. Like, I feel like you would need another healer. And I feel like that's not a popular opinion, and I don't understand that. Why would I be able to stay alive as Luna, as the only heal? She, like, can't heal herself, bro. Anyway, so that's kind of annoying, but I got to use the skin, and she is fun, but I definitely think I would enjoy playing as her more if there was another healer as well. But I'm good. I'm really sleepy. So sorry. I don't want to have caffeine unless I wake up early. Um, on Mondays, I really shouldn't be having caffeine. Yeah, exactly. Because I have to be up so early on Tuesdays, so I'm trying to not, but I am a little tired. What is with this random here? I was like super warm when I woke up, so I was like honestly hair is up and everything. I didn't even like need to put it up. I just didn't want it in my face. I'm like so warm. Even though I have a fan in here. Now that we mention I'm gonna start yawning. That's good. Anyway, I'm like so like this is a common theme on Mondays, but especially I feel like today, like I'm just really dead. Like I'm so just no energy because I spent, what was my schedule? I forget what I did on Thursday, but Friday I recorded Outer Wilds in the morning, went to work, streamed. Saturday recorded Outer Wilds in the morning, went to work, recorded all night. Sunday yesterday went to work, recorded Outer Wilds, finished Outer Wilds. Then, because I did get tired by the time I was done and I edited for like 2 hours. I did get tired, but I already had like made plans with my rivals buddies to play, so I wanted to play. And I did want to play. I was just like, I actually did get tired by then. But then we played rivals till like 4:30. Then I didn't wake up actually super late. I woke up at like 10:30 today, but I was really dead. So I didn't really get up for a while, and then I got in and out. 4:30 my time, yeah. And what's it called? I got in and out. I think it's like 1:45 or something. So I could have gotten here a bit earlier, but then I was watching somebody else play the end of Outer Wilds. And I wanted to show Ty, because I was trying to explain like the ending of the game, and I was like, well, let's just watch it. Like it's just not gonna have the same effect. So I was watching somebody else play the ending. Anyway, so that's why I'm here now, but I'm here. Oh, I remember where we left off. I was gonna say I did not remember where we left off, but I wanted to find the last Gestural, the little baby Gestural, which I think I need to look up because I'm not sure where it is. I don't know. Because I think some of them are like in areas. So I think I'm going to look at a list and then we'll just try to get the last one. So I can do that part quick. And then I'm going to trek through the rest of the inner part of the map. But last time we went around the entire exterior of the map and I did everything. So now I need to go just kind of over all the whole middle chunk, which is kind of the main stuff. So I think I've already done everything, but I just want to check that I did. And then we're going back to the painting fight. Oh wait, I also don't know where Clea, her like axon or whatever, I don't know where that is, so I need to look that up too. But that's the vibes. Hi John Doe. Welcome in. How's it going? I don't even remember the painting boss I was at. I don't know if that's the boss that everybody's talking about. I don't remember the name of it. Oh crap, we have the no, man. We have the dragon to do. But that was gonna be my last thing before the kind of final boss, so I still have a bit of time, but hi Franco. What is that? I'm crying. I'm good, John. I'm just very sleepy. Once we get started, as soon as I mention it, I start yawning. Once we get started, it should be okay. I'm glad you're doing well. Bro. Can we talk about how, I mean, granted, like, I've kind of switched around a lot, so I guess it makes sense, but, like, I've been playing Phoenix ever since she came out, basically. But Franco literally has Lord Mantis, and I think that's so funny. I'm, like, almost there for Squirrel Girl, but I'm not there yet. What is that, bro? What is that? Bro's loading us up. Let me see if I don't think I have anybody with, let me see. I don't. I don't know what this guy is, but I love these. from Kayla. Phoenix scares you? Why? I'm scared of Hella. And then I forget if you were still there when we were talking about it, but I was like, it seems like Hella is just way stronger than Phoenix. So I've been getting pretty pissed off playing as Phoenix. Because I just feel like, what's the point? But I really like her vibe. I don't like Hella's vibe. But it's really angering me playing as her anytime that the other team has a Hella. I just die to her every single time. And I'm like, what? How are you gonna have two like similar characters, but she's like so much stronger for some reason? And it comes with the territory. I saw a video of somebody saying Phoenix is a very balanced character. So that's what I get, I guess. I did not pick like the broken character, so. But I like her. But Hella, man, she pisses me off. She's just always getting me. Always getting me. I hate though, the more that time goes on, unfortunately I do get the effect where I want to like try more people. I don't know why. And I swore I never would, but part of me does want to try Scarlet Witch just because Extra did yesterday. I think he influenced me. I kind of want to try just because I've never played and nobody in my current rotation of characters that I want to stick to has the straight up aimbot shots. So is it a crime if I want to aimbot some people? Like, I don't know. Everybody else that I play as is 8 minutes. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Phoenix. I know. Why is Hella so much stronger? And then like, oh, I have like the song. I was like, what is this song? I already liked it. Like Stealthy was saying Phoenix is better for groups. Cause like the flames, obviously I can get like a group of people, but like, so what, man? Because if I'm against a Hella and I'm just dying, like, what's the point, you know? I don't get it. I need to like never shoot at her as a Phoenix. Anytime I've done that, which I feel very inclined to do when I'm playing as Phoenix, I don't survive. So I need to stop doing that. Same with the tanks. I mean, sometimes I can get a lot of damage on them, but I don't know why my brain is so inclined to shoot the tanks. Now, why would that make sense to do? Why would that make sense to do? Why am I doing that? Why am I shooting the tanks? I don't know. I don't understand, truly. So I need to stop doing that. But sometimes it turns out good. But it depends on the situation. I've started to try and look more in the back. And like go after the healers and stuff. Invisible Woman pisses me off though. I saw this TikTok this morning of this Invisible Woman clip, and she like totally was in this crazy situation with Groot that she just kind of juked around him. And I was just thinking about how infuriating it is whenever I lose her. I'm like, man, where did you go? But yeah, and I thought that I was gonna wake up and edit that, but then I was like, wait a minute. I finished the game. It's gonna take me time to edit. I was like, why don't I just sleep? And then I didn't even sleep that late, but I was like, why don't I just sleep? And then I'll edit it after stream or tomorrow. So I'm gonna try to do a little bit after stream. I do want to go to sleep at a decent time. But I literally had 18 hours of footage to edit. 18. And I actually, I think in the hour or two that I did edit some yesterday, I got rid of 3 hours. 3 hours worth. So that's pretty good, but I'm still literally like the place that I stopped editing was an hour and a half into, so 15 hours left total. So I have a lot left to go through. That's what I get for putting this into one video. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna end up posting it Wednesday, and then it doesn't feel as like stressful either. So I'm gonna do that tonight. Finish it tomorrow, upload it tomorrow, whatever. And then I'll be up, and then I can record a new game. I don't know when I'm gonna do that though, because I do work the literal rest of this week. Yay! My next day off is next Monday. So excited. What are I don't know what you mean by orbs. I didn't understand what you meant in Discord when you said that. I don't know what that means. Support means are the girl. They are, and I don't understand that. I mean, I guess I do, but like that makes me kind of upset. Like, why is that the way that things are? You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of annoying, but whatever. Obviously, if they want to do it, they can do it, but why? It just feels a bit like icky. But I have been noticing that a lot of people love the new, a lot of girls, I should say, really love the new Invisible Woman skin. So I've been seeing that one talked about a lot. Jissa!
Loving Syddy. Squid65 cozy
24 months. Crazy. Ah, thank you, Jissa. Hi. How is the rest of... Wait, do you work tomorrow? You have to be up early tomorrow. Thank you. Are you on my board? I don't think you're on my board. You do? When do you have to be up? Hold on. Okay. What? You have to be up at 5? Holy. When are you going to bed? They're fishies. They're fishies. I have red, green, orange, pink, yellow. The yellow. Okay. Cutie. Oh my god. That fan. Fan ruins my vibe every time. You see? Cutie yellow. What shape I was. Yeah, I'm tired already. Oh my god. Four orbs on the screen. Each time you use your boost or heal, it'll take one away. Oh, wait. Okay, so what did you say about them before? You said... Okay, I don't remember what you said about that. I don't see them. I don't know. I'm so confused. Anyway. Oh, they nerfed her? Oh. What's that? Was that? Guys, my... Oh my god, the music is so loud. Whatever. I just realized it was so loud. Okay. I'm gonna write Jizza. It's quiet on your end? Why would it be quiet? It's so much louder than normal. I don't get it. I don't think I lowered my Spotify. I don't know. This is higher than I normally have it. Okay. Oops. Alright, I think I spelled it the right way, but moment of truth. You just noticed? Thanks! When this is a little more close, you can see it better, but... Yeah, this one stays like that, and then this one fills up. It fills up the more that the goal fills. I saw somebody with one of these, but not the palm tree. It was like a frog. And then I found like a bunch of different ones, but I couldn't find one that I liked. That like I felt like fit the vibes. And then I actually messaged one and they were gonna make me a squid one, but then I was like, do I really need to do this? So then I was looking again, and then I found the palm tree, and I was like, honestly, this is so much better. It's not like so in your face. It's vibey. It's just like so cute. But I think for the holidays, I'll end up getting holiday ones. Like, I don't know. There's like cute little characters like pumpkins and Christmas trees, and so I'll probably do those. But this is probably like the year-round universal one. I'm glad you like it. Okay, let me make sure. I think I spelled it the right way. Yay! If it survives, right? Yay! Wait, just I have a question. I was complaining yesterday because I played as Luna in the last few games. You can't really heal yourself as Luna, no? Just like the L shift thing. But it like takes forever. Is it just... What does that mean? If you throw a snowball? Like, do I have to hit people to heal? I think that's what I need to figure out more with her. Because I was like, dude, I'm dying. And then it was me and Franco, and I'm looking at Franco like... Maybe, Oh, and then actually our last few games, we were running like all healers besides like extra. So I'm looking at literally anybody. Most of the Jeffs that were the randoms at that point, I think. Or maybe it was... No, I think the randoms ended up being Jep. I'm looking at them like, can you heal me? Because clearly I don't know what I'm doing. Ew. Oh, wait, I read that backwards, Stables. I thought you said we put fish on pizza as a topping now. I was like, what? No. Hi, Mantra. How are you? Sometimes I just throw a snowball. Oh my god, really? Oh, good to know. I am Jeff. I know. I don't know how to use. I don't know how to ping or anything. I literally don't even know. Luna is impossible? I don't think so. I feel good about using her, but I was just like really annoyed. I was like, I don't get the point though. Like, it's hard to stay alive as her, but I understand everything else. That's your job, not mine. To my knowledge, I couldn't heal myself fully anyway. I knew about the left shifts, but I'm sitting there with like 30 HP. You can't just bop me with some health real quick. Like, I'm looking at everybody else healing them. Okay. Who is looking out for me? Nobody. She's so easy. You're supposed to heal each other? I'm crying. Perfect, exactly. Let's listen to the Luna main, guys. Actual aim? Yeah, that's why I like her too. I really like Luna. I do. Like, I really like Squirrel Girl, okay? And she feels very natural to me. But later on yesterday, I was like, you know, I just want to be able to actually aim at some people. And I was actually getting some kills with Luna too. I like playing as her. I love that. Just trying to play Luna and I forgot to all and just died. Then use my orb? I don't understand what you're saying. Then use my... But I don't understand. Squirrel Girl is like not a serious threat and everybody needs to cool their jets. Like, she's not. She's just not. I don't understand. You have all these characters who are just... and they're just lasering you, like not even any kind of shooting, just ding, right? And then somebody in Extra's chat yesterday was like kind of responding to what I was saying about Iron Man. I was hating on Iron Man at the time, and I was like, okay, he is the most absurd thing in here. Like, bro just sits in the air and ding, and then he just throws this stupid thing and they're just moving around and like, if I'm not playing as Phoenix, it's actually ridiculous because then nobody's shooting them. So I was getting so annoyed because I was trying to play Squirrel to get Lord, and then towards, you know, as the night went on, I was getting so annoyed because I was like, I need to play as Phoenix. I need to because there were so many of them. I need to just be able to shoot them directly, man. Like, I was losing my mind. And anyway, so then somebody was like, they're equally as bad as Squirrel Girl. I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. They just aren't. I will argue with whoever about this. Squirrel Girl is on the ground. Okay. If y'all want to like do something about it, most of the time if they're hanging around in the back, go to the back. They're on the floor. You can literally go shoot them. You can literally go punch them. Whatever you want to do. The dudes in the air, nobody's hitting them. Nobody. I'll die on this hill as well. She's not as annoying as Iron Man. I don't care. Hi, Spooter. In 3 healer comp? I feel like Mantis wouldn't be that bad in 2, no? If you had like a good second healer. But we were talking about that in Discord earlier. I was saying to Franco, I feel like people hate on Mantis. Like, if she were to be a solo healer. Like, you'd rather use it on somebody else, is what you're saying, Franco? A chipmunk is crazy. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Mantra said, like I've learned now based off of people's opinions on Mantis and how much they don't really like her or think she got nerfed, and then Franco sharing clips and he's like showing kills or like talking about boosting people, or like he's mentioned to me like he had boosted me one time we were playing a lot or whatever. Like I could see how like obviously the main priority is not healing. So like I wouldn't expect them to play as a solo healer at all. But I feel like it's kind of a cool edge to have on the team, to have like they can heal, but they're also like doing this and that, this and that. Bruh. Dun, 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 dun. Cancel today's stream for rivals. Oh, that's what I was gonna say too. I feel like I'm so exhausted literally from looking at screens. And here I am about to stream. I think I need a break, but like I don't have time to take a break, but I think I literally overdid it like crazy the last 3 days on screens, like screen time. Like, oh, by the way, because yeah, I did finish Outer Wilds yesterday. The ending was like, it made me sad, which is crazy because I was so like stressed out that whole game that I didn't really like view it as emotional. And then I got to the end and I was like, wait. Are you saying just that you think they wouldn't, like, if you were playing Luna and you had a Mantis, like, would you be expecting them to not heal? Like, you'd be expecting them to, like, be doing the other Mantis things? Stables asked about it, because we were playing last night. Oh, you have to do damage to get the things back? But, like, what would you do in 3 healer comp? Only have 1, like, actual DPS? Or 1 tank and 2 DPS? Healer B is crazy. I'm crying. Just said, please, I need my other healer. So I said what I said. I'm crying. Heal the DPS. I've been hearing a lot of people think Cloak and Dagger is like a good healer. I still don't understand what they do at all. Don't get it. Ah. I don't think he did say that. I forget how that came up though. I think I was saying that after learning about Mantis more, I don't think they'd be a good solo healer. But I was thinking it was fine with 2. And then off of that, as somebody who plays Luna, you're like, no, we need 3. Mantis has cool abilities. But what was I gonna say? Oh, we had some cool stuff last night. Like, I'm pretty sure Franco was like putting them to sleep, and then almost right when they were gonna come out of that, I froze them with Luna, and then they died, and it was great. It was really awesome. I enjoyed it. Someone be Luna. Dude, I was getting beat up by Magic last night, one game. Actually, me and Franco both. There was one point, it was actually hilarious when I was playing Luna and he was playing Mantis. It felt like the 2 healer dweebs, even though we're not. Or you're not. I am. I wasn't doing bad though, actually. I actually had the same amount of healing as Franco, which I guess is a bad thing now that you're saying he's not really a full healer. But you know what? I was getting kills too, so I guess I was doing the same thing as him. But we were just like around each other and it was funny. I know it is a bad thing. But I was like trying to do damage at the same time. I don't think I'm ever going to play as Luna and just like not be doing that, which is kind of a problem. But like everybody else, I guess not. Well, kind of. We're gonna ignore Jeff. But I just enjoy doing that. I don't know. I enjoy doing that. Bro, the magic was like on us. Spam switch? What does that mean? Ah, exactly. And then, because I'm also trying to be like half DPS Luna, that's why we had the same numbers, buddy. We had the same kind of heals, same kind of kills. We were both doing the same thing. Joke's on both of us, actually. Because what's happening to the team, I don't know. Both of us want to, yeah. Both of us want to be the main character, I don't know. That's so funny, actually. I just had an epiphany about that. Um, no, but if we're going off that, maybe I will blame Franco because I feel like everybody generally was alive when I was next to them, healing them. Unless I died, like, unless I got attacked, then obviously, then whatever, they're dead, I guess, because nobody's there. I don't know. I was, like, with the team, like, healing them, bro. Maybe we were too next to each other, so the same thing was happening to both of us. Equally. Technically, we did. Technically, we did equally heal them. Exactly. No, we were right next to each other. We were doing the same exact game. We were standing right next to each other, healing the same, getting the same amount of kills. Bro. Yeah, somebody, like, occasionally, obviously, somebody would end up dying pants. I'd be, like, looking at the people in front of me, and all of a sudden I look, and they're, like, 1 HP, and then, boop, they're dead before I can even hit them. I really want to play Luna now. I just drank all my water just from sitting here. That's good. It's my song. I want to play Luna. Ugh, guys. I hate Mondays. I know, right? I hate Mondays because I have to go to bed early, but I always start my Mondays late because Sunday nights are like my fun gaming night, and then my Mondays are so short. I don't even know what your alt is. I feel like I did pretty good Luna alts yesterday. I think sometimes I took too long. Cause like obviously with the DPS ones, I try to like think it out more. Not that you should, I feel like be like just throwing it out there, but I feel like sometimes I'd be like, oh crap, like I should use this. But I feel like I did good ones when I did. You don't want to go to work today? I feel you, Spooter. It must be done. Making fun of my bug-eyed baddie movement. I'm crying. I was also playing healer, but I'm also blaming myself, I guess. We were doing the same thing. I don't know. What about this? Hold up. Let's make this lineup. Me, Franco, so Mantis, Luna, and a Cloak and Dagger. Let's let the Cloak and Dagger focus only on healing people. And then I'll be half healer, half DPS Luna, and Franco will go whatever it's called. I don't know the word. Freezing, whatever her version of that is to the people. You're all healer mains? I'm not. I'm not. But it doesn't switch to boost it. My ult is like yours, but doesn't switch to boost attack. What? I don't even know what you mean by that. Hi, Ricky. How are you? Heal for heal? Well, then Jizza would be playing Luna, yeah. I'll just exit the equation. Or, you know what? Here, we can play a game, you guys. and you can be Mantis, Jessica can be Luna, and then I'll play either Invisible Woman or Cloak and Dagger for the first time ever and only heal, okay? I promise. I'll only heal. You can heal or see, I didn't even know that. I wasn't aware of that. I believe yesterday just healing, hopefully. I'd actually be dead if I wasn't healing that whole time. You know, it's going to be a loss for you. What? You're joking. Oh, on your team. I thought you meant, okay, I was reading the other team. I was like, there's no way you're being serious. No, I understand that. You told me. I'm sorry. To be fair, Franco, I feel like I barely hear you talk in game, my guy. 3 healers? Yeah. Because they're not only healers. Well, technically, Jessa would be going into Luna as full healer. If I was doing Luna, it'd be like DPS Luna, DPS Mantis, and then a healer. But it could be DPS Franco, healer Luna, healer Invisible, or Cloak and Dagger. You hate being magic? Yeah, I don't really know why I think I'm gonna play her sometimes. What is this? This is a cool song. Oh my gosh, you wanna know what I was up to, Spooter? Friday. We're gonna go over it again for Spooter. Friday morning, record Outer Wilds for 2 to 3 hours. Go to work. Stream. Saturday, record Outer Wilds for 3 hours. Go to work. Record Outer Wilds for like 8 hours after work. That's how long I played the game on Saturday. Okay. Sunday, go to work. After work, record Outer Wilds. Finish it, which maybe took me, I don't know, 2 hours. Then I was editing for 2 hours. Then I played Rivals for like 4 hours. I've had enough of screens. People use Warlock on my teams when it's only one more strategist. It's such a throw. Why do people hate him? I don't get it. Really? You've been playing Invis? I think the girlies love her the most. I've been seeing on TikTok. I'm crying. Wait, hold on. That sounds like a really bad duo as the only healers, yeah. The boosting is nice. Yeah. I feel like half the time, if I died as Luna and I came back, half the time, like, I'd go and then I'd realize that my team is dead and then I would just get destroyed and redo. No, it's not a show. I was finishing the game that I've been recording for YouTube. It's called Outer Wilds. WILDS. Outer Wilds. It's a space game. It's cool. It's very cool. And then it has a DLC, but I was like, guys, I can't do it right now. I can't, and I think there's something scary in the DLC. I don't know what it is, but I think there's something scary there too. And I'm like, I can't. I'll come back to it. Nope. Jizza, I'm crying. I have seen Outer Banks. I think I'm caught up on it. I love like the whole cast of Outer Banks. I think I watched it when it came out, but I love the whole cast. They're all like so funny and I don't know how bad the acting is. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting. So the two main girls, Sarah Cameron and not me, literally, I'm not gonna remember her name right now. What's her name? Who, the blonde one? God, what's the other girl's name? Whatever. The other girl, who's Madison Bailey, and so Sarah Cameron is Madeline Klein. I love Madeline Klein, Ricky. I love her. She's in the new, like the remake of I Know What You Did Last Summer. I love her. Anyway, apparently so does Thayen now. But what was I gonna say? So there's Madeline Klein and then Madison Bailey. Madison Bailey is really pretty too, but anyway, my point was Madison Bailey has not been in any movies, and Madison Bailey did this Netflix movie, and it was super like Netflixy, and her like counter or like main girl whatever was the main younger girl in Ginny and Georgia, and that was very fitting. I feel like they're in a similar caliber, and I fear that she's not going to, Madison Bailey, who's the other girl in Outer Banks, I don't know if she's gonna break into movies, to be honest. It's giving the cast of Riverdale, you know? They're not doing too good. The cast of Riverdale is not doing too good. I'm not sure I could say who's the most successful because Lily Reinhart has done some movies, but I think Camila Mendes is more successful. I think she's done a bit bigger things. But anyway, the main guy, Chase Stokes, John B. He did that really weird Uglies movie on Netflix with Joey King. So that's where he's ended up. So I don't really think. Oh, you know who is doing well though from Outer Banks? Drew Starkey. I love him. Drew Starkey. He was in some movie. Oh, he was in the movie Queer, which I didn't see it. I heard it wasn't a fantastic movie, but that was like a really big movie for him to be in. So I think he's gonna do really good. I think he's recording. I think he's what's the word right now? Shooting some other bigger movie right now. I think. But anyway, Madeline Klein is by far the most successful one. But I will say, like, cause what else was she in? Oh, she was in the Glass Onion. I forget if that's the name of the movie or if that was like the overall brand. Whatever. The newer one of those. She was in that. And she played this like kind of bimbo character who's like the girlfriend of this online guy, like YouTuber or something. And so she was kind of playing like a ditzy role. And I don't know if it's her acting or if it's just like the way they want her to play it or if it's just that specific character type for her. Because I feel like they want to give her roles like that because of her looks, but I feel like she doesn't fit it almost. Because I can't say that I was really like buying into her character in that movie. And then in I Know What You Did Last Summer, I feel like towards the first third of the movie, she's kind of playing a similar character like that. And it felt a little over the top. Like it felt a little bit forced until later in the movie when they kind of let go of like this superficial girl. Then I feel like she was fine. But I think she'll be fine because she's really pretty, and I feel like sometimes they just don't care about much else besides that and the fact if people really like them. Cough, cough, her and Sydney Sweeney. You know what's really tragic? I really liked Sydney Sweeney after Euphoria season 1. I loved her character, and I was really rooting for her. But I did think Maddie, I can't remember her actual name right now, unfortunately. The actress that plays Maddie, I thought she was going to blow up. But I don't think she wants to. I think she's like said, or there's rumors that she said that she doesn't really want to act like that. It's just like a gig and a job, and she's good on it. I don't know. She just wants to like live her life, which is very like I feel like fitting for her character. But anyway, I thought she was gonna blow up. I think because she's not trying to, they push it on to Sydney Sweeney, who I think just progressively got worse. I really liked her in Euphoria season 1. The problem that they did was in Euphoria season 2, same thing actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Same exact thing as this role or like character type for Madeline Klein. They tried to make it, or she acted way too over the top. And then it became extremely corny and felt like bad acting to me. I don't understand why so many people were like, oh my God, she's so good in season 2, blah, 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 blah. It was giving, I'm trying way too hard right now. I did not like her acting in season 2. Season 2 was really bad, in my opinion. I liked how it was shot, but it was very bad. Anyway, so I didn't really love her in that. And now she's just like everywhere. First of all, she's actually a weirdo. Like she's so weird. Um Doing like the weirdest campaigns and just becoming this very strange like for the men girly pop, and I'm not really here for it. She's weird. Um but on top of that, she can't really act, and I don't know why we're acting like she can. Like she can't act. And what I'm curious about though, so maybe I could take it back, but I think the problem is most of the time they're giving her these roles like that kind of character type, or like trying to be girl next door, but like I don't know, just also being kind of like jitsy or like whatever. But she is I forget the name. There's some movie coming out about some like boxer, I think. She's doing like a biop, and I know that she like put on a lot of weight for that, and like she obviously doesn't really look like her at all. And a lot of people are saying that it's going to be like her Margot Robbie I, Tonya moment, which I loved. I loved Margot Robbie and I, Tonya, and the acting was so good in that. So a lot of people are saying they think that when this movie comes out, it's gonna like make people shut up, and she's gonna like be more respected for her acting chops. Whatever acting chops there are, I don't think she has them personally. But anyway, moral of the story, I think that they're getting the same treatment. Madeline Klein and Sydney Sweeney, they're like, oh, pretty blonde girls, let's put them in everything. So maybe they can't act, but they're gonna be in absolutely everything. Anyway, end rant. um Riverdale is so good. I stopped watching in like season 3. Lily Reinhart is producing and acting in some, I guess, popular like book adaptation. So like a lot of people are really excited for that right now. Um, the redhead from Riverdale. I don't really know how to feel about her because she hasn't really done anything. She hasn't done anything outside of Riverdale. I think I actually, because I did watch Riverdale, yeah, until like season 3 back in the day. And so I looked into a lot, kind of like all of their backstories, and I think for her, she went on like I think she had been auditioning for like 10 years or something like that. I could be making that up, but I think that's what her story was. And I think she was about to give up, and then she got booked for what's her name? Cheryl Blossom? Cheryl? Cheryl. Cheryl? I know Cheryl. Cheryl Blossom. I think that's her name, right? And then Lily Reinhart, I think, moved to LA. I forget how long she was here, but she was auditioning for a while, didn't get anything, moved home, and then decided to give it like one more shot, and then she got Riverdale too. So, kudos to them, but I don't think the redheaded girl has been in anything besides The Strangers. And I didn't really know how to feel about the movie. I thought it was whatever. I didn't think it was scary like the originals. But I wasn't necessarily like, oh, her acting is bad. Ty thought her acting was bad. I don't know. It's a heel up. Let's keep yapping. I know. They said she could be the next Bond girl. Oh, Sydney Sweeney. I know. That actually pissed me off so bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you guys are still her stans, but she's actually a weirdo. Her whole like soap thing, like why are you so odd? You're actually disgusting me. I can't stand her. It's so tragic. I wasn't a hater at first. I really liked her. Now she's just like the weirdest person ever. The 1v1. Ah. Bruh. Yeah, I hate though. I think it's funny because I don't think there's really been like a big celebrity with the name Sydney, and I don't like that this is what we got. Sydney Sweeney, Obviously she's huge now. I'm like, did you really have to do this? You really had to take her name and just become the most annoying person. Like, okay. You didn't know about her weirdness? Okay, so look up Sydney Sweeney bar soap with hole in it. If that tells you anything off of that, but look that up. Look up Sydney Sweeney American Eagle, I think it is right now. Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads. Jean ads. She's been doing some weird. They did this, and that's also weird on American Eagle. Everybody involved in this is really weird, in my opinion. One of the ads, she has like a jean jacket on and then like nothing underneath. So obviously you're like seeing her boobs, right? She has a jean jacket on, and then they're like closing in right here, like the camera, and then they go, and then she says like eyes up here or something, and then they move to her face, and then she kind of like laughs. I'm like, what was the point of that, first of all? And then she has some really cringy one where she's like laying down and like buttoning up her pants, and she's like talking about oh my god, I'm trying to think of the dialogue that was used. It's talking about like having good genes. Basically saying like her blonde hair and her blue eyes, like she has good genes. And somehow they're trying to like translate that to clothing, like of jeans. But they're like panning up her, and she's like buttoning up her pants. Like the whole thing is so cringy. It's actually very strange, like so weird. Yeah, and now I started seeing all these videos on TikTok now of people like parodying God, I don't know how to say that. Parodying. Sorry. The way that she was talking, because she has like the most insane vocal fry, and the whole thing was just so weird. Hi, Cry. Anyway, that's my rant on that. She's a weirdo. There's other stuff, but I don't want to get into that because it's a little more political. I'll leave that out. But if you do a deep dive on Sydney Sweeney, she's just very weird. I don't know. I can't. Are you back from ads? I'm talking about Sydney Sweeney. If you want to know, do as I just said. Look up Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads. Jean ads. Look that up. I think people were just disappointed with her because a lot of people really loved her. Hi, Vegatron. A lot of people really loved her and were hoping she'd be like for the girlies, and then she took this really aggressive turn and was like, nope, I'm just gonna be totally for the men. And it's just not it. What's wrong with it? I just explained. Okay, here's the thing. People were saying about the American Eagle ads. If they wanted to do something like that, I think they were talking about... No, actually, I don't want to list names because I don't remember who they were talking about. They were comparing it to, like, old advertisements with, like, people from, like, the 90s or, like, early 2000 bombshell girls, whatever, right? And, like, they were saying the kind of dialogue and stuff that they went with this. They felt like it's supposed to be more kind of... I don't even know. Like, more kind of flirty to where it maybe is kind of funny. But Sydney Sweeney is just not capable of giving any emotion or, like, anything. And on top of that, she has the most insane vocal fry, especially in those ads, that it's just giving gross. Like, it's not sexy. It's not funny. She's just not giving anything but, like, distasteful. That's all it is. Wait, did you watch them, Mantra? Who is she though? She's been around for a while. She was in Handmaid's Tale, and then some stuff when she was younger, like not super young, but when she was more of like a teen. But they were like smaller things. But then I would say probably the biggest thing was Handmaid's Tale, and then she blew up from Euphoria. She was in the original cast in Euphoria, and then the second season they kind of really focused on her character, which I think was a huge mistake, and her acting was really bad. So it was like way too over the top. But that's how she blew up. And then also she blew up because she literally does not say no to a single advertisement. And people started getting the ick from her from that. They were like, why am I seeing her all over the place? Like, she has no branding. That's people's problem with her. She doesn't really have acting range, if really acting skills at all. Obviously, she's still going to get picked for things based off her looks. She has insane vocal fry. She has a really bad, like, history of things online if you go search. She takes every single advertisement, so she has no, like, branding to herself. Every single one. And then, oh, you know what's another one? Wait, I would need to find this one. I don't remember the name of the... Hold on. I don't remember the name of the soap. Dude, I totally forgot about this. Okay, so guys, I forgot. I think the order of things, she did this weird ad with Dr. Squatch. I don't know how to say that. Dr. Squatch is soap. If you look that up, and then I think the first one, she was like, literally starts the ad like, hey, you dirty little boys, like something like that. Like, ew, first of all. Gross. Then she does another one where they're oh wait, I think this is the hold on. I think this is the other one that I was talking about. Yeah. I think okay, yeah. Okay. So then the same brand, Dr. Squatch, whatever. They literally, this was like a few months later too, I think. They released soap that was allegedly, I don't think it really is this, but allegedly is her bath water. So she does this collab with them to sell bars of soap, limited edition of her bath water. Then that is the one that I was talking about though, where the literal bar of soap has a hole in the middle. Okay. Weirdo. She's a weirdo, okay? So there's both of those two things. The way that the ad was really like eggs people out the first time. Just the vibe of it. Like it was so like weird. And she's like in the bathtub and like I don't know, it was weird. And then a few months later, partners with them again, sells her bath water with a hole in the middle. Okay. So yeah, so you have those. Then you have this new jeans ad where she just sounds stupid and just comes across truly like she doesn't care about what she's doing. And it's really just gross. Calling you old? Wait, why? It's obvious what they're trying to do. I know, right? I think they do men clothing too, Franco. You haven't heard that one? That's fine. That's fine. They can do that, but like if you piece all these things together, it's pretty distasteful. The way that propaganda and the way the climate is and the kind of what's the word? The kind of I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like they're trying to push back any kind of respect on women again. And then you have this girl who literally just doesn't care at all and keeps just doing these mainstream ads that are just so distasteful. Like, if you want to do that, okay, but I'm sorry. If you look at all these things individually that she's done, it's pretty weird. It's not like that's her career and that's her entire thing. It's like you don't need to be doing these things. Because the thing with the bathwater, why has it got a hole in the middle? Why? Why? Like, I don't. Like, I don't know, man. Ah. Yeah, that's what she's doing. And like I'm saying, here's the thing. Like I'm saying, obviously you can do that. You can. Um but like people were pointing out with the jeans ads, there's a way that people have done it where it's kind of cheeky. You know what I mean? Like it's cheeky, it's kind of fun. It's like I am what I am, but like the reason why oh my god. Anyway, the reason why it's just bad with her is because she's just not giving anything to it. It doesn't feel like she has a personality ever. She has insane vocal fry that she's like emphasizing. And she just feels like a giant advertisement because she, outside of all this stuff, she, like I said, just does any literal ad. Anything. Like, she's everywhere. Everywhere. And people keep saying that. Whenever I see a new ad of hers, they're like, oh my God, not her again. So, in general, she's just become incredibly annoying. Like, why do you not have a personality? You're just like a walking ad. No, and that's what I was saying. I'm pissed off because I don't think there's really been a celebrity with the name Sydney. And then one had to show up, and she's annoying. um, huh? When was that a thing, Jordan? That's crazy. Um, not the soap donuts. That's crazy, Jordan. Yeah, I just like, I mean, but that's the thing. I feel, I mean, this is like a whole nother topic ish, but in general, I feel like that topic is just really in a weird place right now because, all right. Because obviously we went from things like that being super taboo to, you know, things like OF. Oh no, I'm gonna literally have to get water before I can finish what I'm saying. Oh my God. I have like nothing left. So like OF, and that became like women empowerment. I'm gonna profit off this and I'm gonna be in charge of this myself and at least I get something out of it, blah blah blah. Okay. But now you actually have a lot of people, and I'm talking girls. I don't really care about the guy's opinion on this, to be honest. The girls are now like, I don't know, I feel like it's weird to normalize this because it's never going to, like, I feel like when it started, people had this notion of like, oh, maybe you're right. Like, that is kind of taking the power back. Like, that was the whole vibe, right? But now I feel like after years, people are like, it's not though. It's still like making you viewed as something. You're still getting treated like absolute garbage. Like, so now people aren't really cool with that. So now it's really in this weird in between space where people will still argue that it's women empowerment, and then everybody else is like, I don't actually think we should be normalizing this. And I think it's really interesting the more that I see like different takes on that topic. Pantsa. Anyway, let's talk about rivals. But yeah, I don't really even know how I feel about that topic because I don't know. It's, I understand both sides of it. And you know who's a really big I don't know how to say her last name, so probably the easier way to find her would be literally looking up Young Gravy. Young Gravy's girlfriend, Ari something, her last name starts with a K. She's on TikTok. I followed her for years because she makes normal TikToks. She's really funny. She's really pretty. Anyway, so she's like huge on OF and also TikTok though, which I think at this point a lot of it comes from TikTok. Not maybe not like profit, but like people go there from TikTok. And I mean now she's dating Young Gravy. Anyway, that was the connection there. But she is really cool because she is very honest. She's been very open about work that she's gotten done on herself. She's very open about the cons of doing that work, and she's very honest about like she does not really support people doing that before you've explored all of your other options because there's like she says there's really no going back. So she tried like a bunch of different careers and then really ended up enjoying doing OF and whatever, all that. So she does enjoy it now, but she said a lot of people will do it and then regret it. And at that point, like, you're already obviously like on the internet, like whatever. So she's very honest about it. And then also she's talked about like how it is kind of upsetting though, because she has really big TikTok following. I don't know how many followers she has, but she's huge on there. People love her. The girlies love her. I think it probably started as like men, and she would make like these TikTok videos like catered to men, but then she started just like kind of showing her personality more, and then girls just kind of liked her and thought she was funny, whatever. So she talked about how it was hard because she wasn't really getting brand deals. She like obviously because of what she does, she would not get offered the same deals or partnerships as like a normal TikToker would. Oops. But then recently, and she's like mentioned that a while ago. Recently, she just did a partnership with NARS, I think, which is a makeup brand. And everybody was like so excited. They were like, "Oh my gosh, this is huge. Like, I'm so happy for you." But then they were like, "This is huge for SW." And then that became a really big conversation because people were like, "Okay, yes, it's great that she's getting treated the same as regular TikTokers, but also it is just kind of further normalizing that." And then there's the line of, should this be normalized or should this not be normalized? And I think it's really interesting because I think we're in like such a gray area on that. um Bro. Hi, Stellar. How are you? I think you're the only one not in ads right now. I'm gonna finish my thoughts when they come back from ads, I think. Thank you. I think I found this like at a thrift store. It's kind of decrepit now, but it's very cozy. And I don't know. It's vibey. I like it. Oh, are we out of ads? Okay, while you guys were in ads, I scrolled up and I was actually crying. First of all, bro, you should write this down. You could write a book. That's so funny. There's a billion people that are talking about or like writing about this stuff. But it is funny astrologically. Like one of the things that I'm allegedly kind of meant to do or like can be good at or succeed in for a career is like media or like basically what I'm doing here, YouTube, whatever. But it's also social work, being a lawyer, social justice stuff, which is really funny because before I decided to pursue creative things, the only other thing I was considering doing, which would have been a very normie job, was like be a paralegal, which is kind of working with a lawyer. And I probably would have ended up being a lawyer at some point. So that's kind of funny. But anyway, and also like teaching. So, but I'm not like a writer, like, you know. So I feel like it's more just talking like this. But Young Who, I'm sorry, I don't remember what I said. And I was crying at what you said, Pants. And then Franco saying though, but the world normalized these types of actions. That's exactly my point. Like you have people like that girl Ari, you know, she acts very normal on TikTok for the most part. Every now and then though, she does a TikTok that you can kind of tell is like supposed to be for the guy. Honestly, not even just for the guys at this point, obviously, but like for OF, I'll say. But then she'll still like she'll say that she loves her job. She loves it and she's really grateful for it and enjoys it, whatever. But at the same time, she will say, think a lot less people should be doing this. And then also people will bring up the conversation of if it should really be normalized because it's not actually women empowerment. Yeah, people are definitely in between right now. I'm crying, Franco. Listen, I don't judge. That's what I'm saying. I think it would be just more, like, yeah, this, just having conversation about it is, I guess, the same thing, but probably, like, posting it elsewhere. Like trying to, like, really post it. Or, like, more than writing, I think a lot of people probably talk about stuff like this on podcasts. Podcasts are so, like, fatigued. Podcasts, because here's the thing with a podcast. 90% of the time, these people don't have anything to talk about. But the problem is that you have to keep posting episodes to stay relevant, obviously. But then people start hating on podcasts because most of them aren't talking about anything. Because they'll put up these episodes that aren't talking about really anything. And then sometimes they'll have a banger, obviously. Yeah, or just that. Like, I don't understand when that started. Like, people saw a podcast and started running with it. So that's a little played out at this point. But, which is funny because I have opinions about things, obviously. I like talking. I like yapping about it. I like debating, whatever. But I don't even feel like I'm suited for a podcast. I could keep a conversation going, I feel like, but the problem is that you have to be able to, like, I would say most of the time they go into their recording session with a topic in mind. And you'd have to be able to have a new topic in mind, something that's fresh though, and not like repetitive and this and that. And I don't know if I could do that. Radio has done the same. I know. Yeah. I think I would want to do a podcast with other people, but I guess you could do it solo and then sometimes do it with other people. But here's the thing, like, I feel like the notion of podcast is really interesting. Oh, hi, Corruptor. Sorry. I am literally yapping. But I think the thing with podcasts is that a lot of them now, like, and even me, I've never really listened to podcasts. I like looking at people when they're talking. I don't know. I never just like want to put in headphones and listen to a podcast. Like, that's just not, I don't know. It doesn't really translate that well for me. And so I think with that though, it's kind of annoying because now I think a lot of it, like, people will record, everybody that's talking in the podcast. And then a lot of the time they don't put that anywhere. Sometimes they will like put it on YouTube or something, but most of the time that's not like for the podcast. So then they'll post the podcast, but they'll post the clips of the people on TikTok. And then they're just trying to get people to obviously go listen to the podcast because you're seeing these familiar faces on TikTok. But then I feel like the more and more that you have people making podcasts like that and whatever, it just like how do I say this? Illegitimizes, is that a word? The podcast or like podcast genre. Because then it just becomes like, ooh, let's get this person on. Ooh, let's get this person on. Like, it's not even, like, sure, some of them have good conversations, or like if people really like, for example, right now, Lena Dunham, sorry to bring her up, but it's the only thing that I can think of right now in my head. Lena Dunham, the creator of Girls, she's been going on like a tour of podcasts, interviews, whatever, because it got a resurgence. But she's really incredible to listen to, so it is a bit different with her. Like, she's a writer and she just is like really smart. So like every single one that she does, she just sounds really smart. But my point is, people know that about her. They loved the show. She wrote a book. So then, you're like, oh, Lena Dunham, like, I want to watch this, whatever. But something I have noticed with even her, a lot of the clips that I've seen of the different podcasts that she's been doing are all generally the same, like, questions and stuff. Like, it just gets very redundant. Like, I feel like the podcast scene, and also when you're just grabbing familiar faces, or like people that are popping, like, at the time, it's like, what is even, why do I feel inclined to watch this? Or people on the contrary who are just like crazy celebrity minions, they will watch every single one because they're like, oh, cool, like, what even is this? Like, my favorite person ever that I don't actually know is on here, so things like that. Like, I don't know, I think it's interesting. I think there's good podcasts that I'm not going to be aware of them because, again, I don't listen to podcasts, but I think there's assumably podcasts that are unique and have good discussion and are super fueled and passionate, whatever, curious, whatever they want to talk about. But then I think there's also become this superficial side of podcasts, and so I feel like they're just kind of odd now. Anyway, that's the end of my podcast rant. Only listen to history podcasts. What does a history podcast entail? You know what? That's interesting. I actually really wanted to, like, for fun, just like kind of look into history. Because I didn't retain history at all. Like, at all in school. And now I'm really interested in it. Oh, yeah. Or like the drama. You're right, Jordan. Like the drama podcasts. It's the only child thing? Yeah, probably. Bro, let me do a podcast and debate with you guys. Yeah, it basically, I know. And that's the interesting thing with streams. It can be like a podcast. Even like outside of that, like, even if you're just listening to me play games or whatever, even like the little bits like this, talking before, like, similar thing. Podcasts that have topics off the bat is weird. Well, but the thing is, I don't know if you could always, like, I feel like they generally would, like, I'm sure if you do listen to podcasts and you think that they're just like casually spitballing, they're probably not. Like, they probably have it mapped out a little bit. They might have like something that they're like, oh, I wanted to talk to you about this, whatever. And then they go into it like that. See, I didn't know about podcasts until the annoying ones were in my face. So I don't really know anything about kind of podcasts before they blew up to such an extreme. Hi, Than. Yeah, even this isn't like on the topic of podcasts, but I think it's really interesting, like, there's like a lot of but then I don't, TikTok is a really interesting media that has entered the chat, because there's a lot of accounts on TikTok now that, like, they're either more on the drama side of things or they're more on the news side of things. But there's like a difference between, let's say for the news people, I've seen a handful of TikTokers who, like, their just presence is giving newscaster, news reporter, whatever. So like that I can respect a little better. But then there's people that generally do the same vibe, like all the same. It's like where they're like smaller on the screen a little bit, and they're like green screening effect where they're like reading off like, oh, let's say TikTok is going to shut down in 30 days, blah 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 blah. But then they're like all doing the same thing. I don't know how to explain it. They're just all repeating. If you've seen them, I feel like you know what I'm talking about. They're just all repeating the same thing. And there's just no kind of like, what is the point of this? Or it'll be like super, like I said, like more like superficial things. And it's almost like an event happens and they're like, okay, we're going to immediately do this. But, you know, I guess in the same breath, it's like the same thing as news stations. It's just that those are like older and more established. Whereas TikTok, though, it's like a billion people trying to do the same thing. But, you know, my other point to this was I can't really blame them, though, because it's like quick money. And right now, like everybody just wants to do something that's quick money because we like have to. So then it just becomes a really weird back and forth. Like, can you blame them, though? You know? Squiddy TED Dog about healers. Let's do a whole podcast episode about Marvel Rivals, okay? You listen to podcasts, Than? Like what kind of podcasts are your favorite? Well, for me, I don't really like I don't really have anything against podcasts, and a lot of them that are the ones where they do share clips of faces, I've thought like, oh, I actually would like to watch this. For example, especially right now, the Lena Dunham ones, like I would actually like to watch those. But back in the day when I was into like The Bachelor, a lot of them, honestly, I'm gonna blame The Bachelor for a lot of podcasts. Now that I think about it, a lot of them started podcasts like right in the surgence of them, and they're just stupid, or they're like always about The Bachelor, like stupid. Anyway, I used to be into it, so I was curious back then, but I never really actually listened to a podcast. I think for me though is like I'm just so busy. If I'm gonna like take the time to do something like that, I'd rather like watch a show or like I don't even super watch YouTube videos. Like that's just not really something that I do. Or like if I'm gonna work out or like go for a walk or something, I would rather say I'm like going on a hike. I'd rather listen to music. I have been telling myself like, okay, I'm gonna listen to a podcast. It just never happens. Like I don't know. I just always would rather kind of listen to music, or if I'm like on a treadmill or something, I'd probably rather watch something to keep me more interested than like just listening to somebody talking without like obviously music you're just listening, but like it's more of an immersive thing, I think, whereas podcasts are like so different than obviously watching something. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking about. She might change my view on things. Podcasts used to be niche, then after Joe Rogan's explosion in popularity, everyone started doing it. Oh. Wait. Okay, I think we're in ads. Uh-oh. Wait, can you hear me, Dan? I don't think so. Okay, no. Just me, guys. Just me. Okay, are we out? Are we out of the ads? Okay, so I read Corruptor's message. So you think that after Joe Rogan's explosion in popularity, everyone started doing it? Why do you think? Like, what did he? How did he get popular? I'm not even that familiar. I've seen his podcast before, but I'm not familiar why they like blew up. Because they were annoying. Hi, Rexy. 1 year and 7 months. Oh my gosh. Where's Leo? Oh, brother. Okay, hold on. Yeah, things like that mantra. Like, obviously, that is really sad, but that's exactly my point. Like, things like that. 2 hours of yap sesh. I know. Okay, I was reading Thane's comment, but I hit a red flag. But this is funny because I don't know anything about this person, and I don't know what they've talked about. But there's this one girl on TikTok, and I love her. She's a Leo, but she's like very Leo energy. I don't know. She's a Leo, and she's like just a little ball of energy, and she's so like blunt and open and honest and whatever. But anyway, so she's very much like the definition of a diva. And then she started dating this other TikToker, but he thought that she was going to be insufferable at first, and they were kind of like this whole like enemies to lovers thing because they actually ended up dating. My point being, people were like so happy that they started dating. Like people like loved them together because she had a string of just really bad guys or like relationships before that, and seemingly he seemed like a great guy, right? So people were really on it. And then I forget, I think he made a TikTok bringing up something that Jordan Peterson said or something. And then, oh my God, he just got like lit up. Like everybody was like, oh no, this is his first red flag, like to the girlfriend. They're like, yikes. I don't know anything about that person. I don't know the things that they say. So I'm not saying anything, but that's the only reason why I know who that is. They were like, oh, major red flag. But stupid topics, history, ethics, psychology, and politics. Yeah, like I feel like I wouldn't really want to watch podcasts about like surface level things, which is more on the vibe of like drama or tea or girly pop things. In my case, a lot of the stuff that I end up seeing. Uh Not you losing your pearls. He is raw, no edits, and he is willing to push back on people. Oops. Hold on. Oh my God. Franco too. I need to look into this because I don't even know. Wait, this is so interesting considering the fact that all I know is that the girlies are saying that's a red flag. I don't know. I don't know the context of this at all. What's a red flag? Jordan Peterson, who Thayan and Franco are fangirling over. But I haven't listened to him. I think it's a guy. I haven't listened to him. I don't know. I don't know, but that's just what I've heard. That's what he said, right? Jordan Peterson? Yeah, Jordan Peterson. The polarizing statements here. Do you know who that is? You know who that is, Mantra? He said, "Oh no." Why'd you say, "Oh no"? Oh god. Because saying Jordan Peterson is my favorite person in the world is a statement. Oh, brother. Anyway. He's like the dad you never had. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Okay, I'll do my research and I'll get back to you guys. I'll get back to you guys. I don't know what that means. Hold on. I'm curious what his stance is on that cry. What does that mean? Male figure placeholder? I don't know. The girlies are saying that's not good. Wouldn't have to worry about, what does that mean? Joe Rogan started inviting MMA fighters to discuss about MMA, but these guests would invite other people sometimes. At the time, interviews with famous people were kind of formal. Oh. Oh, so it was kind of the shift in, like, say, like, how celebrities go on, like, late night talk shows or something, like, things like that, versus introducing, like, a more casual interview scenario with podcasts. That makes sense. Interesting. That's so interesting because now I feel like everything is so chill. Like, everything is catered to being chill. Like, do you guys know who Alex Cooper is? She runs now the Call Her Daddy podcast. That phenomenon is very interesting to me. Very interesting because I think it started, I didn't ever listen to it, so I don't really know. I think it started as, like, kind of spilling the tea on, like, girl topics or feelings about certain things or whatever that normally wouldn't really be talked about. But, like, more on the superficial side, I think. Like, I think that's how it started. But now she's been on this run of interviewing celebrities. Like anybody. You've had Penn Badgley or whatever, Badley, whatever. Ellen Pompeo, the girl from Grey's Anatomy. I'm pretty sure Selena Gomez has been on there. Like, just anybody. Anybody. But anyway, she is very interesting because it started, I think, in college, when she was in college. Or she started it, I think, with people that she went to college with. And then they kind of split up, but she stayed on the podcast. And so I think it started off, like, way more extremely casual. I mean, obviously, it's still a podcast at the end of the day, but it was very casual. And now she has a studio. But they always, of course, are promoting it with clips of the faces. So I'm assuming she gets most of her views, like surge views, whenever she drops like the new guest, or like Chappell Roan's been on one, in like these TikTok clips, and it like is casual, but she'll touch on more like serious questions with them. But then I know a lot of people, actually, now I think about it, yeah, I think she's interviewed some like political figures, and then that kind of bothered people because it's just kind of crazy, like, and this goes for a lot of careers right now, I think. Um, which is why I really feel like a lot of people are so lost right now, because the transition just between kind of generations and how things work is so different. Because she's interviewed like pretty big figures, and then people are like, this is really insane. And she's okay at like interviewing people, but people have, obviously compared her questions or whatever to other people. Sometimes though, people were surprised at how good her interviews were with these bigger figures. But they're saying how weird and like dystopian it is, and frustrating that you have this person that just made a podcast. I don't know what she went to school for. I know that Alex Earl went to school for business, and they were like, I think they were like almost like partners for a minute. I don't know if Alex Cooper did a similar thing, but I don't think it was anything as far as like journalism goes. And you have somebody like that getting to question these huge figures that journalists who went to school for that, are like grinding for that, are not getting, and they don't really exist. It's like these people that have podcasts who are more in just mainstream eye and like mainstream culture have such a bigger weight than like some random journalist now, you know? Bro, she's blonde. If you look up Alex Cooper, she's blonde. Far more emotional. Kill you with facts. People that are like that, like facts over everything, really piss me off. I think more often than not, I don't vibe with people that are like that. Um, Call Her Daddy's been around for a while then. This is the final boss. Okay, I made it to the end of chat. Anyway, I'm always thinking about stuff like this because, like, I think it's really funny, and I always try to say, like, if people want an opinion on something, I feel like I'm a pretty good person to, like, give an opinion to, because I'm, like, pretty in the know or whatever with general pop culture. Like, I think it helps being in the generation that's like in between millennial and Gen Z, because obviously I've seen both sides of the spectrum. You hear from both sides of the spectrum versus like having more, like being more exposed to one side versus the other. Brett Cooper. I don't think I've heard of, I don't know who that is. But like a lot of my TikTok is like peak brain rot, like in the sense of things that, I mean, really anything, but things like pop culture wise, society wise, seeing just brainwashedness of whatever, trying to sell you whatever, trying to get you to do this, whatever. I feel like I've seen just so much nonsense. And sometimes I get influenced on things, but um like I really can get easily influenced on things, but a lot of time actually Ty will kind of like get me out of that. And then he has different opinions, and then it gets, you know, I get different perspectives of both things, and I think it's really interesting because I'm more, I would say I'm more surrounded by people older than me than the opposite. Wow. What is wow? Oh, about Brett Cooper. Ah, okay. I'm pausing. I'm pausing for this ad, but I really need water. Guys, now that we're yapping forever, I literally think I would rather play Rivals. No, I was so down to play Expedition, but should I just play Rivals? Are we out of ads? I know, I did. I was like, okay, we're talking so much that now maybe I should just do that. But yeah, Corruptor, I think, okay, another cool thing that I saw, was this video where this guy, because I'm really into astrology. Y'all can think whatever you want about astrology, but this video was very interesting. This guy is a historian, and he's been a historian for a long time. And he was talking about in relation to things that were supposed to be happening astrologically, and piecing that with his knowledge of history and times where the same astrological placements that are happening happened at some big events in history, and how we were like in that right now. And it was so cool and so interesting. And anytime I get a video of somebody reflecting on, yeah, like behaviors of repeating the past in history and whatever, and I have no idea what they're talking about. Especially my mod Klaus, like that man knows so much. Like he just knows so much. And I just wish that I could relate. Like I don't retain anything that I learned growing up about history. I don't. I don't know why. I don't know if I wasn't into it. I remember the one thing that I was really into was learning about the Holocaust. Just really random, but I thought it was interesting. But now, like, I mean, I would like to know about everything. I just wish I could like redo learning about history growing up, because obviously there's a lot, and I don't really know anything. Way more than I wanted to. But it often rhymes. I like that. Yeah, I know. I did well. Okay, and then again, I feel like the only person here that I know will generally back me up on astrology things is Jizza. She won't like shut me down on it. But it's just funny, everything I was saying with things that technically astrologically I should be doing, am inclined to do, am good at doing, whatever. is being in media, being a lawyer, getting into social work, social justice, being a teacher, exploring and learning. So I think it's really interesting. Like the main thing, I have a Sagittarius rising, is like they just want like all of the knowledge. And that's what I'm feeling lately is I just want to know about all these things. Oh no, astrology. I'm just saying, y'all are closed-minded if you do not look into astrology. Rain check on Jezza, don't call her. Oh, because of astrology, I'm dead. I think it's very closed-minded to shut down astrology. Hot take. But I don't think that'll ever really change, so I've just accepted it. But I think if people really wanted to feel like they could have a strong opinion about that, like you'd have to be invested in it, and nobody really usually does that. They just say it's crap. I don't understand how it's not logical though. It's about patterns, and I should look for this video and send it to you actually. I'm gonna look for this video. I don't remember. I don't know if Jissa watched it. I'm gonna look for this video that I was mentioning about this historian and him talking about the correlation between history and astrology. And how there's just like literally patterns of things. Like that's just what it's about. It's like patterns of things. Just like history. And it's the problem with astrology is people making it mainstream to where it becomes superficial. And then you and my aunt would get along well. I love that. But people make it superficial, and then because it's so like mainstream now, you get people saying things that are just stupid and like the fluff of it. And they might not even be true. And a lot of people could get wrapped up in, oh, well, it's telling me that I should do this, or it's saying that I'm supposed to do this, or it's saying I'm supposed to not date this person because of this, because we're not compatible, blah, 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 blah. But it's more so supposed to be a tool, essentially, similarly, as knowledge, as history, a tool to just, give you more insight into things. So you could say, for example, if I say, I don't like Libras, someone might say, I don't like Libras because someone told me that I'm not compatible with them, so I will never date a Libra. For me, I've already done that with multiple, and like there might be a similar pattern that you might find, they say, about that sign that you've already experienced. And I would never just like shut something down like that, but I think it's interesting to know like a pattern that you might encounter is the best way to explain it. So I think it depends really on the way that you're looking at astrology, because similarly, like I just don't remember the event right now, like the historical event. That's why I'd have to send you this video. But some big thing, I think it's a civil war. When the Civil War happened, there was some placement going on that is, I think, happening within this year or next year. So the good astrologers are saying they think it looks like, and this historian, you know, combining the historian, who's not an astrologer, he's a historian, combining that with his knowledge of obviously patterns that seem to be creeping up, it seems like we are obviously going to have some kind of civil war type thing. So things like that. It's just like interesting to look into. And also, if you look into it deeply, or like if you're somebody that is willing to reflect on yourself, because a lot of people aren't. I talk about that a lot. For me, whether you want to believe it or not, I have a lot of planets in the 8th house, and the 8th house in astrology is like a really dark house. It's like transformation, rebirth, reflection, connection with shadow work. Shadow work is obviously reflecting on any trauma or anything that has gone in your life, whatever. A lot of people don't want to do that. I think about things all the time. But a lot of people either like aren't like meant to do that, or they're just not willing to. They want to just ignore that. They want to stuff it down. They don't want to process the trauma. They don't want to whatever. But you can kind of, you know, like a lot of things. How do I? It's hard to explain because it's so complex. But basically, like with that in mind, if you're willing to go there and do shadow work, which is kind of in rhythm with astrology, you know, anybody could do, it's just like working through your trauma. But if that's in sync, it's a better word, with like astrology, you can learn things about yourself and maybe behaviors that you see repeated, or things that you can acknowledge and work through, or work towards, to kind of be like your best self. But it depends on who you are, because a lot of people won't do that. So then they might just take it surface level and be like, you know, people that A, don't have more knowledge about it, don't have knowledge about the patterns of things, don't look deeply into themselves. They could literally take astrology very surface level and be like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, oh, I'm an Aries, so I'm like super angry and blah 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 blah, and that's all. Like, that's it. And then again, I think the biggest thing, because obviously society puts a lot on relationships, the compatibility thing, and I know a lot, astrology, this is just more of a fact. More women are into astrology. So I know a lot of men get upset if somebody, like I said, is like, well, I don't date Scorpios, sorry. Like things like that. And people might seriously do that, and they might not have knowledge about anything. But they'll like take it and run with it and be like, no. So there's just so much. There's so many different levels. Mike Duncan's Revolution. Oh, cool. I'm going to take a picture of this because I'm probably going to lose it in chat here. Thank you. I would be an easy shop for birthdays and Christmas. I feel like I kind of am. No, I'm gonna take a picture of this 2 corruptor. I'm gonna like read everything you're saying, Than, but see, like I don't think like you're in the know enough. Cause like I don't really understand what you're saying. Cause like things can be generalized, but the point is that they're specific to each sign. And then the problem with not knowing astrology fully, there's different planets that have a different sign per planet. And then those planets are in different houses in the astrological chart. So every sign is going to act differently in every planet. And every planet in that sign is going to act differently in a different house because the houses have different themes. So they'll have a different effect on that part of you. So, like, I think my moon is in my 8th house, even if it's not. I'll give you an example real quick. So, I have a Gemini moon. They say Gemini moons are, they like communication. It's like the biggest part because Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Oh my God, I can't say it. Mercury rules communication. So, Gemini moon, I like to communicate through what I'm thinking rather than like maybe just sitting with your feelings that somebody else might do or not acknowledging them. For example, Jezza has an Aquarius moon. They say Aquarius moons are more closed off to kind of letting in those emotions per se, or like letting it affect you. But Gemini moon communicates. I'm going to snooze this ad so I can finish my thought. Gemini moon communicates or wants to talk through your thoughts, which is essentially also like your emotions. And then you would take that, and it's in the 8th house. The 8th house, like I said, is a really like dark, deep house. So the way that maybe comes out, because also my Mercury is there, which is how you actually communicate. So the difference is like Gemini as your moon, you want to communicate your thoughts, but then also how you're communicating would be different depending on your sign in Mercury. So I have Leo as that. So Leo in Mercury is a pretty bold, like confident, dramatic kind of storytelling way of talking. And then you take both those things, you put it in the house. They're in the 8th house, which is a lot of reflection and kind of feeling almost trapped like in your own thoughts, like reflecting on your, basically that it's like super overthinking in my case, or like overthinking my conversations with people because it's there, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I mean when I say it's really complex, because you can't just say Libras suck. I know that now. I'll still say that blankly. Do I exactly mean it? Kind of, but not really, because you can have a Libra who has a Pisces moon and an Aries rising, okay? And then you'll have a Libra who has an Aquarius moon and a Scorpio rising, and they're going to give completely different things. Like you can't say blanket statements, and that's where I think a lot of people lose respect for astrology. Blanket statements don't work with astrology. You'd rather learn from feedback? Wait, what do you mean? Aries rise up. Dude, I forgot you're an Aries. Anyway, that all to say, if you guys are still here, especially Thayan, I'm not trying to argue with you, but I think that is always going to be my main statement that I need to remember to say is like blanket statements don't work for astrology. That's the premise of why I think people don't really understand. Okay, Cry, let me give you a hold on. Oh wait, not that one. Okay. If you guys want, I would look into your chart on this site. So you just put your information in there, but you have to know your birth time. There is an option to put unknown, but it's not going to be accurate enough to understand the way I'm explaining unless you know your birth time. You can still look it up, but I would definitely try and find the information. Yeah, I called you out and you didn't like it. You didn't even clarify if I was correct in my possible assumption. And then if you want, Cry, I think it's in the shenanigans tab in Discord. A handful of people put their charts in there and it was really funny. I was like trying to kind of read their charts. Like I'm not a chart reader by any means. Like I'm not out here like having people pay me to read their charts. Like but I just like looking at them and trying to guess based off my knowledge how to best explain what I think I'm seeing. But again, I'm not like I haven't read books about this to that extent. Yeah, your birth certificate. But if you want, you can put it there and then I can like tell you about it if you want. If I find anything that I seem to know about. That's another thing cuz for me and you know most of it is again based off patterns. Like anything that I say is like usually going to be things that I'm familiar with. So if it's not, I'm not going to have anything to say. But I said Libra. All of a sudden she said, "Oh no, that's not good." Really? See, that's what I mean. That's kind of crazy. And I understand if people have angst against it for reasons like that. Like, you shouldn't just automatically be like, all right, I'm out. Especially if she didn't know your entire chart. That's the problem. No, because it's based around, in response to what you're saying, Than, it's based on patterns. When I say blanket statements, I'm talking about people that only go based off of somebody's sun sign and say, Libras suck, you're a Libra, I'm not dating you, or they ghost them. Whereas the details are in the rest of that chart. Outside of everything that I said between the planets and the houses, also the degree that each planet is in also means its own thing. Then you have aspects, which is like the sun, for example, like the sun, actually let's this is a better way I can explain anything. Like the moon, I'm trying to remember which one is the bad one. I just got into these recently. I think it's opposition is bad. Say like the moon is opposite Mercury, you might have a conflict of like the things that you're thinking not being communicated correctly, like in alignment with your thoughts. So like things like that. So those are the details. It's just that most people do not have that level of knowledge. Thank you for Aries, we rise up. Huh? Wait, what are you telling me about that thing? I'm confused. Are they not contradicting with all the other charts? What do you mean by that? Yeah, find your birth time. And even I was telling people when I was looking at their charts just for fun, like I can try and give you a little synopsis. It's a lot easier if somebody has a stellium, which just means not like easier, but well, I guess it's an easier first thing to like kind of look at, which is interesting. If you have 3 or more planets in the same sign, then you'll have like a lot of attributes of that sign. So there's a handful of people. I think every chart had a stellium of the people that sent one. So like I have 3 planets in Leo, so I'm like pretty Leo dominant then. Things like that. Hi Avery, how are you? Well, that's my point, Franco. All my friends are Leos. I love that. I just don't. Sorry, Than. I don't really know what you mean by that. Just to clarify, I'm not like saying it doesn't make sense. I just don't understand. It's almost 3 hours of Yap Sesh. Yeah, we're not doing expedition, guys. I'm sorry. That just wouldn't make sense right now. I don't know what. I don't know why I'm yapping so much. I don't know where all this came from. Don't be sorry. I enjoyed it. Well, I have been enjoying listening. I'm glad you were listening. The last time I was on the game mantra, I like basically finished everything. I want to find one more of the lost chest rules because I literally only have one more. So I want to do that. And then I want to just briefly glance over the rest of the map, but I think I covered absolutely everything now besides the flying dragon thing in the sky and then the last like final boss. Oh, and Clea that I need to look up. So I'm just doing now like the actual like final things and then we'll be done. Whenever I beat that boss. She's gonna play rivals with Franco and Jizza. You don't talk much, so it's great. Wait, what do you mean? I don't talk much. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, Than, I think, but the problem is like whenever you're talking about astrology, like I guess it does go both ways. If you already have an extremely aggressive stance that it doesn't exist, and I have an extremely aggressive stance that it does, like there's probably not gonna be like any crossover, but I still think it would be interesting to actually talk about it, maybe in a call sometime with other people so that it doesn't get carried away, of course, but But I think that would be a lot easier. Thank you for the hydrate. Oh, I never got Leo. 2 days and 17 hours. Let's go, Ricky. Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you, Avery. Was it bad? I need to watch until dawn. It does predict things, though. That's what I'm saying. The problem is that a lot of things that are not predicted correctly are like not happening by the astrologers that actually have like studied and read a bunch of things, because it has become mainstream. And I actually think now that I've kind of learned a lot, like a lot of the inner stuff to it, I definitely don't know everything. I think generally you're constantly on a cycle of learning things with astrology, but I think even people with like the level of knowledge ish that I have about it, a lot of people have gotten carried away and they'll make videos. Like a lot of, because it's been really popular on TikTok, but a lot of astrologers on TikTok will literally just see something that some other astrologer posted and they'll take that, run with it, make their own video, but they don't truly know what they're talking about. So I love this one girl right now on TikTok that I've seen. She doesn't show her face. She doesn't have a static video. She shows a chart of what's happening for like the month or the week or the day or whatever, and be like, all of these astrologers, all these positivity astrologers are lying to you guys. This is not just going to be happy and blissful, blah, blah, blah. And so she says a bunch of real stuff and points out a bunch of things that they're not even talking about. And then you have the more majority, I would say at this point, astrologers who are ignoring that, and they just do these videos that will like get views and whatever. So I think that's where a lot of translation gets lost between respecting it and what's accurate, but blah blah blah. Oh crap. I hope they're still here. Okay, I think we're out of ads. If you're still here, Corruptor, thank you. I hope you have a good night. Yeah, I'm wrapping this up. I'm gonna go on Rivals for a little bit. But yeah, exactly. I think that's, you know, generally a lot of things. People will speak on things or even just give a brief opinion on things that they don't really have full knowledge about, and then that can get tripped up in conversation or correlation to other things, et cetera, et cetera. I do understand. I think that's also, though, like something that's interesting with astrology, the concept of like being able to predict things, because it just isn't that specific to, like, you're not like physically psychic, like that's not how it like it's not like that, but that's what a lot of people say. It just isn't. You're not literally like psychic in the sense of seeing things. It's just recognizing patterns. Yeah, Okay. I was in the middle of changing my title. Okay, hold on. Anyway, 2.5 hours later. That was a very wonderful 2.5 hours. That's actually, that might be the longest I've ever like chatted about something. And I do feel like most of it was me just talking to myself, like Mantra said. So that was a very long time talking about whatever. Okay, hold on. Who am I playing? I'm gonna play a Squirrel Girl today. I kind of, no, yeah, I'll do Squirrel Girl. Let's see. Oops. Okay. I'm gonna close this. And we'll open Rivals. Whoever wants to play. Oh my god. You can play. Enjoy the chatting. It's all good. I might post this on the VOD channel. I wasn't going to, but we did end up talking for a long time. I might post this on the VOD channel. I get really sketched out posting like chatting bits on the VOD channel just in case I like change my opinion on something later or something. I don't know. I don't like the idea of that, but that's just life. So maybe I will just post it because I do stand by everything that I said. And you know what? My age the worst. Saying Sydney Sweeney is a weirdo, but you know what? At this current day and age, July 28th, 2025, I do think she's a weirdo. So whatever. I'm crying. Yeah. And we were chatting for so long. I think it's really interesting, like what we were chatting about. So, yeah, I'll probably just still post it. But I'll probably post it with the Rivals. It'll be like chatting in Rivals again. I have one of those recently. No. I don't feel like I was really a person in high school. I was like trying so hard to be liked, that's all. I know, the problem is that I do just be yapping, and then what if I just like shouldn't have said something? Like maybe I shouldn't have said Sydney Sweeney's a weirdo, but guess what? I think she's a weirdo, so like I don't know. Oh, bro. It's so funny. Oh my god, look at the cute tree, guys. I guess you can... Wait, was I Oh, I guess that's not... Maybe I moved my mic before. You can see it better. It's so cute. I get canceled a few times. Sydney Sweeney has beef with random internet Sydney. Bro. Yeah, the tree looks so cute. Except it's gonna be done in what, like 2 days? It's a long story, Avery, but I was talking about Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, and how unfortunate it is that a Sydney is pretty famous right now, and I don't like her. So, big yikes. You don't understand the appeal? I think you maybe came in after this. Unless you just didn't say something back then. I think you came in after we were talking about her. Is that your real name? Sydney? I mean, I think people were into Sydney Sweeney after Euphoria because Euphoria blew up, but also she did have nude scenes in Euphoria, or a nude scene. So then she kind of blew up from that. And then on top of that, she did this movie, it's called like I always get the word wrong. It's like The Voyeurs or something. She was nude in that, and then she started posting more just like, and that's where the line gets interesting. Obviously that stuff was work related, but on her Instagram she started posting more like provocative pictures, and then I feel like the conversation kind of stirred around that. Like, guys were obviously like fawning over her. The girls were like, "What are you doing?" Blah blah blah. Then she has done like every ad under the sun. She says yes to everything. Now she's done all these weird ads, so it's just kind of progressed. Hold on. Yeah, well, because I watched Euphoria when the first season came out. A lot of people, I feel like, watched it when the second one came out. But I watched the first season when it came out, and I was really into it like everybody else. So I followed like everybody from the cast, and they all seemed like they got along. So they were just like a cool cast. Like I feel the same way about the Outer Banks cast. And that only happens like every so often. I know people felt that way with like the Riverdale cast. So I like kept up with them. But also Sydney Sweeney is like a huge topic. Like I was saying, like on my TikTok, like I get very girly very girly pop oriented pop culture-ness things. So I never looked in your bio. Oh yeah, no, that's my name. That's my name. I don't think anybody really calls me Sydney on stream. Like I don't think a single person calls me Sydney. In real life, it's kind of funny the switch between Sydney and when people start calling me Sid. 9 times out of 10, I think you should just call me Sid. My managers, like, I feel like I would say obviously, but I think I've had one that I was kind of friends with, so obviously she called me Sid, but otherwise all my managers end up calling me Sydney. Obviously, that never really changes. But otherwise, I feel like people generally call me Sid. I know. No, I'm gonna go get Leo now. Hi, SRT. What about Squidster? Definitely stream. Anything squid, definitely stream oriented. Only when I was a teen did we get the Sid the Kid squid knees. I wish you told me that before. About Sydney? Yeah, I mean all of that. Syddy, Ricky's Squidster, Squidney, as Extra loves to say now. Squiddy, Avester. Bro. Hey, Sydney. It's fine. It's fine, but definitely even more than, like, I would say on stream we get the squid variations, or Syddy, I guess, more than just Sid, which is fine. I like it. Whenever somebody in real life learns that my username is SquiddySyddy, I feel like they're so confused. And every time they say it out loud, I'm like, this like belongs on the internet. Like, I'm sorry. Please don't say that out loud. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous, okay? But it just is what it is now. That's just my name. So, but like nobody in real life calls me Syddy because that's like not a thing. Like, it's just Sid. You know what I mean? So then anytime somebody says like my Twitch name or whatever in real life, I'm like, or they'll be like, oh, like, what's your at? Like, what's your YouTube? What's your Twitch? I'm like, do I really gotta show you? Like, do I really have to? You're forever Squidney. Extras here. Did you just get here? Were you listening to these debates? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jizza. I'm sorry. That's you're Jizza in my head. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry.